Hey, everybody, you like to laugh? This guy's going to make you laugh. He's one of the biggest comic talents in town, and we're very lucky to have him. Here he comes, everybody. It's Kevin Quigley!
Oh, my God!
Hey!
Oh, hey, guys. Am I talking to it?
Go ahead.
That's exciting.
Go
Hey.
ahead, make us laugh.
So, all right. Well, okay. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a story. So speaking of the '90s and AOL, I used to be on a Stephen King fan club called Schemers, which stood for Stephen King Emailers, which was dumb. And so I met a bunch of friends on there. This is when people thought that like meeting someone on the internet was going to end up in axe murder. So I did the best thing I could do is invite one of them to my house without meeting him ever. And I was like, this guy's going to murder me. This guy's going to kill me. And his name was Bob. So I was like, oh, that's too innocuous. It might be the wrong thing. So he came to my house. We were gonna drive up to Maine to go to the Stephen King bookstore to get a book signed, and Bob was gonna drive me in his car all the way up to Maine, come to my house, stay overnight. And he's like this ex-Marine, and he shows up and he looks like an accountant. I'm like, oh, definitely murder. And he didn't kill me, which is great. And we drove up to Maine, and everything was fine. He listened to heavy metal on the way, and I wasn't into heavy metal at the time. I was a big Billy Joel fan, and he wanted to listen to this album called Tom Catton the entire way, and I don't even know. It was like, you know it? Yeah, Tom Catton the entire way up to Bangor, Maine. It was great. The heavy metal capital of the U.S. So we get up there, and I'm like a psycho Stephen King fan. Like, this is at the time when I was a teenager, I would write SK, like the initials, on everything. Like, I would go to my friends' houses, and I would like write it on their walls, and I would be kicked out, never allowed back, because I'm compulsive. And I got like several Stephen King tattoos, and I was like insane about Stephen King. So we're getting in the line, and there's this huge line. It's cold out. The bookstore's giving us like hot chocolate because it's so cold out. And I get in line, and I'm like, I'm gonna freak out when I see him. And I had like friends that I had only met online around me, and they're like, well, you need to do something to calm down because you're like freaking out. Have a question in mind. And I'm like, all right. So I said, well, maybe I'll ask him about a couple of characters from a book I liked, like what happened to them after the book. I didn't know at the time that he hates that question. I was just like, oh, I get something in my mind. So I made it through, and my friends are like, just ask him about Alan and Polly. That was the character's name, Alan and Polly. So just ask him about that, and I'm like freaking out even more, freaking out. And I get up to the front of the line, and my friend Bob is like pushing me forward. I'm like, Tom Catton, and he's pushing me, and I hand Stephen King my books, and I'm like unable to speak, and I'm like, whoa. And my friends back in line are like, Alan and Polly, say that. I'm like, hey, you wrote a book called Needful Things, right? And he's like, yeah, I remember. And I was like, whatever happened to Alan and Polly? He's like, oh, they're fine. And I'm like, hating myself. He hands me my Misery copy back, the book Misery. And in it, he had written, from your number one fan, Stephen King. So I'm reading it, and I go outside, and I see that, and I start hyperventilating, and then I fainted. I fainted in Bangor, Maine, onto the ground, onto the cobblestones on the ground, and I was apparently out for 15 minutes, and it was cold out, and like I wake up, and all these people are around me, and they're like, do you want cocoa? And I said, yes, I want cocoa, and I'm like freaking out. So and then we immediately drove back home and listened to Tom Catton for another 4 hours. It was very, very strange, but yeah, that's my experience meeting Stephen King for the first time. I fainted. He didn't see it, but that was my life. So that's me. That's my Stephen King story.
K-Quigs, everybody. Switch places. One-eyed kid, you go over there.
Okay.
You come over here.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye, guys.
Yeah, you'll be back.
you.
All right, go on.
One-eyed kid, you're
Here
awesome.
Here goes the one-eyed kid, everybody. Here comes K-Quigs.
Come on in.
Come sit down.
Hey.
Quick.
I'm sitting.
Yeah, all right, here we go.
God, that's always my worst fear, meeting someone you like and them just being a big jerk.
Well, he was really nice to me, but it was like this was meeting God for me because I was only like 20 and there we go.
Okay.
Is there anything he could have done
I was only
to
20,
blow
full
it for
grown
you?
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
the only thing he could have done to like ruin it for me is like call me an asshole or call me a jerk or something.
We only
Yeah,
have
that's fair.
we only have 2 minutes for a K-Quigs interview now because we're running late. But
Thanks, one-eyed kid.
yeah, one-eyed kid. You just took up all your time.
He always steals the
My
show.
plan. Here was my plan. I was gonna get one of the fuzz guys to faint on cue when I ask him questions. It was gonna be really funny because I'm gonna ask him right now how many times. Listen to this, Strange Fuzz. I'm gonna ask this guy how many times he's seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the movie.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right, and when he gives an answer, if one of you guys could faint, that would be great. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Might all faint by accident.
Johnny, are you ready to Johnny Varash, are you ready to pull that off? All right, let's see what happens.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hey, K-Quicks, how many times have you seen the motion picture Rocky Horror Picture Show?
555.
Oh
Oh my God! Everyone fainted.
Yeah.
You got
That
two
is
there.
so.
It worked.
What happened?
It worked.
Incredible.
555. Yeah. Two of those times was in Paris.
Yeah.
I went to Paris. I don't think they're alive anymore.
Yeah, you killed him. Look what you did.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know.
This is worse than when you met Stephen King.
I only thought that like 111 more numbers would kill them, but oh well.
Here's what we're gonna do.
That's 666.
We only have a minute,
funny.
but here's what I would
I'm
like you
not
to do.
funny.
I think you can pull this off. I've been
Okay.
thinking about this.
Okay.
One of the things that you do is when you're doing your stand-up stuff.
Yeah.
You like to tell stories.
Yeah.
And sometimes you tell dirty stories.
Yes, I do.
You have a lot of dirty stories.
Oh,
They're
many.
so dirty.
They're
Oh my
so
God,
dirty.
so dirty. But we're on at 9:00 and we can't swear.
Yes, I can't say bad things.
But here's what I'm wondering: can you tell one of your dirty stories and not swear? I bet you could do it.
Oh boy.
Let's
yeah.
see if we can do it.
Oh.
Substitute
go.
words. that's
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Just substitute some words.
Substitute some words. So I was
we
this in 1 minute.
All right.
I was visiting a friend in L.A. He invited some other buddies over. We were all having. They all wanted to have some fun with cake frosting, and throw it
Sensual fun.
on my face. Just for fun. And they did that. And unfortunately, some of the cake frosting got in my eye. And they stopped having this fun party that they were having, and everyone just stopped and put a cold compress on my eye, and the cake frosting all washed away, and then we watched Buffy season 3.
Oh my God.
Aw.
It's a
Hey,
compressed
everybody,
version.
The cake frosting wasn't cake frosting.
It wasn't.
Wow! You did it, buddy.
I
Thank
get
you, man.
it.